Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be covering how to use formulas within Intuitix. To start off with, formulas are relatively similar to other spreadsheet related softwares out there. We've done that by design to make sure things aren't too complicated or too different from what you might be used to. There are, however, some changes to some syntax that you need to be aware of, which I'll let you know going through this demonstration today in this tutorial. So starting off here in this template, we might have, for example, in each of these fields, a formula. To start a formula, you must always start with a equal sign. That equal sign basically lets the system know that you're typing a formula and a formula only, and not just any text that you want it to reference. So to begin with, you have to type in equals, and say you want to just do a simple addition or a multiplication or something like that, you would type in the word sum, and then open the bracket, similar to other spreadsheet softwares out there. Then you might want to do, for example, a simple calculation 10 plus 10. Something as simple as that, and it will do that for you. But because we're in a template, this will just do the calculation as a sort of, it will show you the formula, and in a project, it will actually do the calculation for you. So this would obviously return 20 in a project. However, what we might want to do is we might want to reference other fields in this formula. So we might want to do like 10 plus this field up here. Now there's two ways we can reference this particular field. As we're in a template, we could reference it using the syntax method. The syntax for this is using the @ symbol. The @ symbol, and then we would obviously type in carbon reduction per use, and then we'd select it. It will go green, blue, and that would let you know that this has been selected and that that's an official term. So what you need it to do is actually go blue to let you know that that's actually been selected as a reference. Once you've done that, you close it with a bracket and then hit enter. That's it, confirms it's now there. Obviously, if this was on a project, it would calculate, but because we're on a template, it's just telling you that that's the formula for that cell. So what we could also do is, instead of using the syntax method, we can also just simply click on different areas of the application we want to reference. Additionally, you might want to click on something that's actually referenced somewhere else in another tab. So if you was to click here, you'll notice at the top here, the formula that we had earlier is still here, but at the top. This basically lets us know we're still within that particular component, that cell we were in, and we can click on another thing and it will add it up here. One thing to note is if you've got one thing already selected and you haven't finished or you haven't added in an additional calculation parameter, that you will be continually changing what you're clicking on until you finish that formula. So if you're wondering why you can't select a field, sometimes just have a quick look up here in the formula bar, because you might still be within a field and you might need to finish it. What you always must do is make sure you hit enter, and that will finish that formula, so that when you've done, you sort of confirm that you've done that formula. One of the other syntax you need to be aware of is so say if you want to reference a table. Again, there's two methods to doing this: is the click method and the syntax method. So if I want to reference, say, that table above, the usage table, I would type @ and then obviously usage, and that's selected that table. But we want specific data within that table. We don't want just everything, because that wouldn't make any sense. So if I only wanted something from January, I would do an exclamation mark. That lets me select specific columns within the table. And then obviously January is what I wanted, and then I close the bracket and hit enter. What that would do is that would add up everything within the January column. However, you might not want to do everything in a column. You might want a specific cell. So I might want to select specifically just this cell. So you would just use the selection method, and you would just do that, and it will reference the cell for you. So that's how you reference a specific cell for it to calculate or to return something. So I might want that particular cell and this particular cell plus together, and only those two. But say I want to add up everything on this row, I would do, for example, I could use the syntax method, which is I want usage, and then I want to have everything, so I can just select it all, and it will just do that. And that would be the sum for all of those. Close bracket and enter. If I just want, for example, to reference this end cell, same thing again, I can just go, not even at, I don't even have to use that, just click it, and there we go. So that's how you can select different cells and tables, and how to select different components within a template when you're on the template. You can also do this in projects quite simply. So if I was on a project, let me just get one for you. I can, so this I might just type in for 40,000 because that's what I'm entering for the budget of this project. However, say I wanted it to do a quick calculation for me. I've got like say some variables on a spreadsheet or something like that I want to calculate. I would just do sum, and then I can just add them here. And that would do my calculation for me. It calculated it for me immediately, and you can't see that formula anymore. However, if you double click, you can go back into that formula. But say I wanted to also add up some other parts of the application, same as before, I would go into benefits and say I wanted that total there. As you can see, it's added it to my formula that's in that previous component I was still within. End it with a closed bracket, hit enter, and that would have returned the same thing, 36. So that's how you can do a very similar thing, but within projects. Obviously, if you change the information on a template within those fields, it will distribute to all of those projects that have that field. So if you have, for example, total budget, and you are in a template and you hard coded into that template that formula, it would replace that figure in that particular component. So that's templates and projects and how you can use formulas for that. However, on dashboards, they're slightly different. So let's head over to a dashboard. So on this dashboard, we have a few different things. We have some tables, we have some charts, and we have some information here. So what we might want to do is we might want to change some different aspects of a table, for example. So in addition to the name, I want to know the particular references that go with these projects. So I would add a new column, say it was to the left, and I want to know the reference codes here. So I type in reference. And in the formula field, for us to pull that information about that in each of the projects, I would hit equals because we're doing a formula. A space, you must always provide a space before you do an @ symbol, simply because if you're writing an email, you need to differentiate those. So you do a space and then an @ symbol, and then I want specifically the reference. And that's all you need to do, and that will pull for you on a project list table just the references for each of the projects. So that's how you can do a column within a table. But say we want to do something similar to this total budgets over here. So I want to pull all the data from all of these and do a sum of those. So it's a bit different than before. So say I would do a standard field and call it sum budget. In the formula field, I would need to select that table. I can do that one of two ways. Is if I was in this table, was in the dashboard that I'm currently trying to select it from, I can just hit the header, and that would simply bring for me the header and all of the information there. Because I want a sum, I would obviously want to do a sum of that. So I want all the information to be summed, and that would create that for me here. So there's that sum budget of this budget here. But say I was referencing something from a different dashboard, or my dashboard was so large that I couldn't be bothered to scroll to find it, you can use the syntax method. So the syntax method is basically as similar as before, but instead of using the @ symbol, which is to select anything from a template, we have to use this squiggly line symbol. That basically allows me to select a table within a dashboard. So on this particular instance, I want to select technology projects, and then as same before, I would use the exclamation mark. Exclamation mark, and then I would go to budget, And that's selected the table and then the column, which is the budget column, and that's doing the same thing as before, doing that sum for me. And that's it. So that's what we need to do for doing the difference in syntax between the two things, between using the syntax for tables on dashboards and tables on project pages and on templates. Apart from that, there's only one other piece of syntax that you might need to be aware of. It's coming out with one of our new features, which is called archiving. If you use a hashtag before creating something, it basically lets you select a different time, basically we're going to have archiving of projects and dashboards. And if you want to reference a specific year, then you would use the hashtag symbol and select the year. That will be coming out shortly. All different formula types that you can enter into a project or into a formula will be in the description, as well as any of the syntaxes that we've mentioned in the video so far will also be in the description below. If you have any further questions, please just leave a comment on this video and we'll answer them as soon as possible. Thank you very much. My name is Joshua Hart, and cheers for watching.